Welcome to Spotlight in Business. I'm Tammy Defoe, president and founder of GTApreneurs. I'm so happy to introduce to you today Ron Finlay. He's a DJ, event planner, and wedding officiant with Perpetual Rhythms, and he will be the next guest speaker for our Wednesday, October the 11th business networking event online on Zoom. Register now. The information is below. And thanks for coming out today, Ron. I want people to get to know you a little bit before you give us a presentation next week. Tell us more about yourself.
Well, my name is Ron Finlay, of course, and I'm Toronto born and raised, been here my whole life. And I have been electrical and acoustics engineer since I graduated 45 years ago. Wow. And I love music. I'm a dance teacher. I've been ballroom dancing since 1975. So I have a big love of music and dancing, and I like to help people with the education that I've acquired. And it turned out to be in the event world. Not something I planned when I started, but here's where I ended up.
Fantastic. I know, Ron, I've known you for a while, but I never knew you were a ballroom dance instructor. So how crazy is that, right? Look, I'm already learning more things about you. So tell us, why did you decide to go into the entertainment business?
Well, way back in 1980, I was a guest at a holiday party for the company I worked for. And being a dancer, I'm ready to go. And I asked the DJ for a request, and I waited all evening, and he never played it. And I thought, well, gosh, that's not good customer service. We want to dance. We know what we like. Dance floor was empty. So I thought, why didn't he play it? Well, that's fine. That's his thing. But I thought, you know what? With my dancing background, my music collection, my technical background, I can do better than that. So I started a DJ company with no other background, no idea what I was doing, other than I thought, if you try hard enough, you can do anything. And here we are, 42 years later.
That's amazing. And how did your business evolve from back then? Because I know technology really evolved over the years.
Well, interestingly, because of that DJ not playing my request, I made requests. Job one. I handed out request cards from the very first wedding I ever did, because I didn't know what they wanted to hear. That's the one thing I never thought of when I got to my first wedding, going, okay, I know what I like, but I don't know what they like. So I asked the hotel for some paper. I gave everybody half a sheet. Back then we had pens. Now we don't have pens. We have phones. Everybody's writing down all these songs they want to hear. And fortunately, my record library was big enough that I could fill the whole evening from requests. I didn't have to pick anything. And the dance floor was full. And I thought, well, this is interesting. If you play what they want to hear, they will stay and dance. And if they're hearing what they want, they'll stay to hear another song. So my parties went right till 1 o'clock in the morning, not fading out. So I thought, okay, this is clearly the way to go. No point guessing. I can't tell what you like musically by looking at you. So this whole read a crowd thing, I don't get it. But I do know that if you're humble enough to ask people, what would you like? Just like a waiter in a restaurant asks, what would you like? How is he going to guess what you want to eat? I thought, well, this is a pretty basic, logical, accurate way to pick from thousands of music. Now, I have 55,000 songs. I play 100. That doesn't even scratch it. How could I possibly guess? So I've made request job one. And what's interesting is I went from records to cassette tapes, to CD, to digital computer. And I still maintain this request density at my weddings up to 100%. And it's always been that way. It's a company standard. It's a requirement that we play requests first. It's never let me down, ever.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's all about, like you said, I mean, with any business, really, it's about giving people what they want. They're going to come back for more. Exactly. I had a situation a couple months ago where I was at an event. It was a really big trade show, right? And so then there was the host, and he's talking on the microphone, but I couldn't even make out what he was saying. So look, what's the difference between, because you were at the event too, right? And you possibly heard it. And so what was the difference between how they set up the sound and then how you set up the sound?
Well, I know the event you mean, and I know the venue you mean. And I went to see the venue because I wanted to know what we were going to be up against. And my job at that event was to bring backup PA to support in case. And sure enough, the issue you mentioned. Very few people understand how sound travels through a room, acoustics, sound absorption, reflection, echo, feedback, all these techie things. At the end of the day, it sounds bad and it's inarticulate. When you have a room with multiple speakers, you're hearing the same sound from multiple locations at different times. That is the definition of an echo. So if it's fundamentally set up to produce multiple arrivals of the same sound, it's fundamentally going to echo. Well, you can't do anything about it. Talk to the Grand Canyon. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So
That's
my understanding allows me to eliminate these problems so that we don't have it. And our sound is crystal clear. We call it whispering to the back row.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So it's actually kind of funny to think about like the sound bouncing off the different walls before you get to the people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so to me, I'm just kind of trying to get at though, like you have like different equipment, like it's specialized equipment, or is how you set it up around the room, or what's that
It's
difference
both.
in there? Okay.
We have the most advanced speaker system on the market. It's called an articulated line array. One of my speakers could out-deliver 8 of theirs. And it's one source, not 8. And that's the problem that we don't have. So we own better equipment because I know what to buy based on technical specification, not what's on sale or what the latest hype is in the marketing. I don't buy into that. I look at this technical part, and I'm blessed with an education that lets me understand it. As a result, we make smarter purchases technically. Turns out it's more reliable, but it sounds better. And we have so many video testimonials on our website where people talk about the sound at their wedding, at their celebration of life, where it really has to be delicate. We call it room-filling sound at half the loudness. And that's another key piece, is we don't need it as loud because we can fill the room because of the kind of equipment we have. And we're the only ones that have it. Nobody else wanted to spend this kind of money. I don't care. I can't afford cheap equipment.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, very good. You know what? Tell us about a recent client you've helped and how did that go?
Well, we had a client come to us through a bridal show 2 years ago. We met them for wedding planning. We saved them so much money that they moved their wedding a whole year, and it was this August of 23, not August of 24. I did their wedding. They were so impressed that not only did I get the biggest tip of my career, but that's not the point. It's not about the money. They were so amazed that we went out for breakfast with them this weekend, and they're still talking about the wedding. So we know when a client is happy, they can't stop talking about it. And the guests, all these accolades are the result of them having the best wedding experience. In that case, it's a wedding, seeing things they've never seen, done with a smoothness and an elegance that is so classy that they are just blown away. And the last wedding I did, the parents came to me and said, "You are worth every penny." Now, when a parent comes to you because they're concerned with how much their kids are spending on a wedding and on the DJ or the food or the whatever, and they say, "You're worth every penny." Wow, that's good. I'll take that to the bank any day. That is such a nice thing to hear from the parents who've had more life experience. And when they see that for their kids, that's a win. So we're really happy with these kind of outcomes.
Nice. Yeah, very good. Well, look, I'm really looking forward to your presentation next week and give people lots of tips. But yeah, I mean, it pays to have a DJ that's got all the music you need for requests, that has the best equipment that can fill the room. The sound comes proper, comes out properly no matter where you are in the room. You don't want someone giving a toast and you can't hear it back at one side of the room, right? And just kind of overall giving that positive experience. And Ron, I know your wife as well as a wedding officiant. So does she usually come out with you to the weddings and events?
It depends on logistics. We both officiate sometimes together, which is fun. And sometimes we do it separately. It depends on the client base for that particular date. But she's quite a little machine in her own right. She's more than fully capable of doing all of it. And because of me, she understands all the sound requirements that we then require of the client's DJ, if it's not me, to make sure she sounds her best and her client sounds their best. People come to hear the bride and groom's vows. And if you don't have the sound right, the guests and the client suffer. So we make sure that we apply our skill even to help another DJ for the sake of their client, who happens to be our client when Shirley's off doing her own officiating. And so this is where we leverage my experience to help other people, because they're still our clients. And we respect and appreciate every opportunity to help someone have an even better event.
Nice. Well, look, thanks so much for coming, Ron. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at the event.
All righty. Well, thanks so much, and we'll see you all on the 11th. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody online, and we'll talk about events.
Sounds good.